Okay. We should be starting now, and actually my sound should be better today. I think I've finally worked out the sound. I've gone sideways instead of facing the camera in order to stop the air condition blowing directly into the microphone. I don't know if you guys can see it, but my air condition is literally right behind the computer here. Keeps the room nice and cool, keeps me very nicely air conditioned, but sadly it blows right into the microphone, and so while I talk you get this whole sound the entire time. Guys, let's jump right into it. I don't want to hold you back on the news today. We're going to get right into the first questions that we have here on Facebook. And I've got to go to my wall to be able to see what people post it. Alright, we got it. And these are questions and news, world news and questions you choose. So they can be really about anything you want me to talk about. Yes, it can be Japan related. I am not focusing on Japan. With that said, we're going to jump into the first question from Isaac. You may know him as Akasan on YouTube. He's asking about the notion of a man-child not to do the right thing, quote-unquote, the Paris Agreement. Yeah, that's looking real bad right now. So apparently Trump is pulling out of the Paris Agreement, and the rest of the world is kind of shocked. I'm guessing he's going to go with the whole climate denier situation and pretend like nothing's happening with that. I don't know what it's going to take. Is it going to take being able to see as he's dying his kids live in a post-apocalyptic world that is similar to the movie The Road? Is that what it's going to take? And let me just say hi to a couple people who just logged on. Hey Matt, hey Rodney, hey Rogelio, I hope I said that right. Rogelio. Are you guys hearing me okay? This is a new microphone setup. All 3 days I've tried something totally new. I can see my camera work is still not so hot. Still a lot of frame rate drops, and I'm gonna work on that too. I'm gonna switch to a computer with a lot more RAM and up my internet connection. So sorry about that today. Hello Robert, and let me jump right back into it. Evergreen State College. Devin writes in about that, asking what my opinion is on that situation. If you guys don't know, actually, okay, let me go ahead and I'll just read straight from the article. Probably a lot of people in countries that are not America don't know what exactly has gone on at Evergreen State College. Evergreen State College closed due to direct threat to campus safety. Evergreen State College in Washington State was abruptly closed Thursday morning after officials received a direct threat to campus safety. All are asked to leave campus or return to the residence halls for instructions, said a statement on the college's website. Law enforcement thought that the threat via a 911 call was credible enough to forward to Evergreen State College in Olympia, and school officials decided to close the campus. Sandra Kaiser, Evergreen's vice president for college relations, told reporters Thursday. Campus police declined to elaborate on the nature of the threat when contacted by Fox News. Officers were visible and present on campus Thursday, and officials were waiting to hear from law enforcement when they can give the all-clear, Kaiser said. She hoped classes would resume Friday. I'm going to jump down a little bit more. I'm not going to read through the entire article in whole. Let me get down to, okay. So this is... The reason this threat has come in is when a biology professor, Brett Weinstein, objected to an event called Day of Absence. They don't give the full details on this Day of Absence, but from what I've heard, it's a day that they didn't want any white people to show up to the campus, which I'm a bit confused by. If anything, I always imagined when I went to college, the college campus not just being a very highly educated place, but a place of diversity and a place that accepted everyone without even thinking or taking into account race, creed, religion, where you're from, or anything. I realize campuses aren't perfect. Of course, racism exists, but if there was ever a place educated enough to get past that, I thought it would be a college campus. So I'm kind of surprised anybody would ask for any certain race not to be able to show up to a college campus for one day, and that they would think people would be okay with that. I remember when Weinstein was interviewed by these students who didn't want white people to show up for one day, he said, no, we're going to pretty much keep it open to anybody who wants to come and get an education. They can come any day that they have classes, and there can't be a day where we say only these people can come to school for the day. And you know, he didn't pick favorites or pick sides. He just said, this is what our policy is at the school. We're open to everyone, and we've got to continue to do that if we're going to follow our own creed and code. So people were not happy about that. And a related aspect to this is apparently the video of this confrontation going down, where they were telling him he needs to set up that day where there's the day of absence and white people can't come to school. They were yelling at him and telling him he was like being too aggressive and putting his hands up. And if you watch the video, I can't stream it down here right now or it'll slow me down even more, but he's not aggressive in any manner. He barely even raises his voice. I think at one point he slightly raises his voice when he keeps getting cut off again and again and again. He's like, can I talk? I felt bad for the guy, honestly, watching this video. And now apparently other people who watched this video were so abhorred by it that they pretty much had the opposite reaction to what the people who recorded this wanted. They did not take their side. They said, this is, you know, really messed up that you would come to school and yell at a guy to make him try and do this. We don't support you in any way. All different types of different groups of all different types of ethnicities. They're like, this is not the way you do it. You don't come in and be combative with school staff. You know, you sit down and you have a conversation, a very educated, calm one, and you don't, you know, get this aggressive. It just seemed like, I mean, and maybe even the guy's a little bit guilty for getting a bit heated himself. I don't know if I would have even taken on a dialogue with people ranting and raving outside of my door. I guess they were really up in his grill, up in his face about this, so maybe he had no choice. So apparently, though, they said that the video isn't shown in full, making it appear as though they are being too aggressive, but really the whole story shows that they're not, if you can watch the whole video, but only parts of it have been put up there and edited to make them look aggressive. So they want the video taken down now, when they were the actual people who put the video up to begin with, this group who led this day of absence campaign. I don't know, it seems a bit hypocritical to me to be yelling at people to take something down after you went out of your way to put it up. And if there's one thing I think we all know about the internet and have learned, it's if you definitely want something to stay up forever and propagate even more, ask for people to take it down. You have just made the Harambe of protests. Funny, dude. Okay, let's go back to the Facebook questions. All right. The next person on here is asking about the Kathy Griffin picture of her holding up Trump's head. I actually covered that in yesterday's news, so I'm not going to do it twice. You can just go back to yesterday's and check it out. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Ashley asks, how do I feel about Studio Ghibli Park set to open in Aichi Prefecture 2020? I'm kind of surprised they're going to try and open it the same time as the Olympics are going to be here. I mean, that's going to be pretty wild. I wouldn't imagine I'd want to go to it when it first opened, due to the fact that you're going to have a massive influx of tourism and everything in Japan is crowded. Although I am excited to see what this looks like. Apparently, from what I've heard, there's a Ghibli museum in Tokyo, and I've heard that's really quite nice. That they open it up, even though it's mostly for kids. Kids go through there and tear it apart, apparently, and they replace everything within the museum, something like every 8 months or something like that. They have to replace everything in there. Apparently, as soon as you walk in, I haven't seen it. And just a heads up, if you want to go to that Ghibli museum, apparently you have to reserve tickets like a week or two in advance before you're going to show up there, because it is sold out every day. Anyway, when you get in there, there's a Neko bus. If you guys don't know Neko bus is an anthropomorphic cat / bus, the movie Totoro. And it's like life, would you say life size? I mean, it doesn't exist in real life, so I don't know if you say life size for that. It's pretty big enough that little kids can climb inside of it and ride it just like May did in the movie. And apparently that thing gets just torn down. They said it gets crazy dirty, and just like they just rip it apart, take it back down. use the scraps and everything and rebuild a new one every 8 months. So I mean, they put a lot of work into that place. I heard it's nice though. So I imagine if the quality of what they put into the museum continues on with the park, I think you're going to see a pretty nice park. The thing about Japan is so odd is that parks here seem to really be hit or miss. They either are a ton of fun to go to, or you go and you're just like, what the hell is this? And then there's like these weird in-between parks that are like for kids, and they're just cheap junk. And you wonder kind of how they stay in business. The rides are like crazy cheap, which they have to make them cheap because they're just like literally just machines that lift up and down like 1 or 2 feet. They like turn the kid around like a couple times and then stop. You put like 100 yen in there, 300 yen, which is like $1 to $3 to make the rides go. You don't even buy a ticket to get into the park for the day. It's kind of strange. It's like as if a bazaar came to town and just stayed forever. But then there's ones like Kitakata Park, which I did a video on one time, and that one is fun, man. They've got like a haunted house in there, and they've got this one of my favorite places to go in there is a room that everything's distorted and bent and made to look smaller or bigger, or rooms turn as you walk through them, and they're just that I like stuff that messes with my mind, and that's what that place does. Okay. Let's see. There was a tanker in Colorado that exploded on the highway. I don't know anything about that story other than it must have sucked. I'm sorry to anyone who got hurt or anything during that, but I'm not something I actually researched, so I really can't do any insight into that. Tornadoes in Kyoto, is that normal for that side of the region? I don't hear about tornadoes too often coming through Kyoto, so that is kind of surprising to hear. I didn't know that that's a problem right now. Let's see. The time on my stream is not moving along, so. Oh no, that was weird. The time like froze on my stream, so I thought like, is my stream frozen? Sorry, let me get back to it. I haven't heard too much news about tornadoes in Kyoto. They are coming through there right now. That is, I think, a bit out of the norm, but it is storm season, so maybe, I don't know, I've never lived in Kyoto. Kyoto's actually about 45 minutes away from me, if I, take a Shinkansen, so it's pretty far out there. I don't really go there too often. It's not really super exciting for me anymore. Once you've seen one temple or shrine in Japan, you've seen them all. Sorry if you're like a huge shrine or temple otaku. Okay. Juan asks, how's your kids? The only time I remember you mentioning them in long term was one of them was rushed to an ambulance. Really? That must have been ages ago. Rushed in an ambulance? I've never had a kid. My kids have never been in an ambulance. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Juan. My one child did have to go to the hospital for a biopsy, and that was somewhat traumatic because biopsies are traumatic. I mean, they're taking a chunk of your skin out of your body. They're both doing really well. Their school's great. Their school work is great. Their juku is great. The oldest is starting basketball on Saturday. The youngest just started soccer. They actually were on stream on Facebook yesterday. Kenny was on stream just yesterday, so I tend to share them pretty often. If they happen to like wander into the room when I'm streaming or anything, I'm always happy to share them on camera. Now that they understand and know what filming is and know how it works with talking to people online, I allow them to make their own choice of whether or not they want to be on camera. And for the most part, it seems like my oldest Kenny really enjoys it. And he's not very camera shy unless I ask him to dance, and then he doesn't want to dance. He gets really like self-conscious with his dancing ability. And Maki, I think he just doesn't, nothing phases him, nothing bothers him. So if he happens to be on camera, cool. If he's not, cool, whatever. Everything just water off of a duck's back for him. Adam asks, the current state of meme. The current state of meme is most likely dank. I think we all know that. Let's see, okay, now getting into news outside of international news. People wanted me to talk about these 3 things, which I'm kind of do in short because I am going to make videos about these people individually as my internet anomaly series. I'm actually, as soon as I finish this video today, I'm going to go to work on finishing my DSP video, and it should be out, if everything goes all right, it should be out tomorrow. They want me to ask about Fusey Tube's homeless situation. Those of you who don't know who Fusey Tube is, he's very popular on YouTube. There's a lot of people who like him, love him, and don't particularly like him too much. He kind of lives in his own reality that he creates, in which he's like a megastar. Although I feel like everyone should give him props no matter what for the fact that he used to be a heroin junkie, and he went from being a heroin junkie to like a YouTube star. And he used to be like really out of shape to being like really cut and in shape. So I feel like, you know, you got to give credit where credit's due, but you also got to, you know, lambast where lambasting is due. And I think what his problem is sometimes he does let his ego get the best of him. He does things that he thinks are excusable just due to the fact that he's Fusey Tube when they're not. Like, for example, all his pranks being fake, and then later him calling out other pranksters for being fake pranksters when he himself did that. That would be like after I quit J-vlogging, someone else quits J-vlogging, and I'm like, can't believe you quit, you loser. I don't think I really have the right to say that considering I did it myself. As far as his sort of, how would you say, drama is, I can't really agree with a lot of the drama type stuff he does. So if you guys don't know, in the past, one of the most annoying things that he did was he pretended to have a fake fight with another YouTuber named Ricegum, in which he pretended to hit him on camera, and they got into like a verbal altercation and stuff. And then everybody who saw it, all the drama channels who saw it, Keemstar, I don't know if you'd call Philip DeFranco drama, I think he's more news. They all saw this video and they're like, yo, this is super fake. Like, obviously he didn't actually hit him. You can't even see him connect with the punch on camera. Why is he making fake videos? And then him and Ricegum came out and were like, yo, we made this video as a social statement. We're just trying to show that all you guys care about is drama. And even when it's fake drama, you guys get fooled. And they're like, well, actually, no, we didn't get fooled. We just said this is fake. And they're just kind of like, well, yeah, whatever. You guys suck. So if you create fake drama, that's okay. If you lie to your fans and pretend like a fight really happened, that's okay. But when people report on that, whether it's fake or not, that's not okay. Okay. Definitely, if there was ever a moral compass to follow, that's you, Fusey Tube, right? You know, I think he regretted his decision later. He apologized quite a bit for some of the things that he did in this last year, and actually took a massive break from YouTube, which that made me feel like he was far more human than a lot of people gave him. Maybe he hadn't let his ego envelop him totally. He did realize he had to take a step back, and maybe he was letting the hype of like drama and his interaction with his community overtake him too much. So I respect him in that manner. Now, after that massive detailed retrospective of Fusey, he's doing a new campaign where he's locked out all his money from himself. He's put like a freeze on his account. I don't know exactly how that works. I would never do that. And he's made himself homeless. Like, I guess he's, you know, not signed a new lease or bought a house or sold all his stuff. And he's out on the street, and he wants to travel. I guess, I don't know if he's going to go to other countries. Yeah, I guess he is, because he said he talked about some YouTubers who don't live in America. So I guess he's going to travel the world, which, okay, so if you're going to be homeless and you lock yourself out of your own money, how are you traveling the world? Like, you don't, what, you're gonna beg people for like a $5,000 ticket or something? Okay, whatever. I'm sure there's some other logistic put into it that I didn't realize. I think he was allowed to leave. He left himself leave with like a massive dump of cash, like it was like $10,000 or something. Which, are you really homeless if you're walking around with $10,000? He is going to ask YouTubers if he can stay at their house along the way while he's making the trip. And people actually personally asked me, they said, Scott, if he came to Japan, would you let him stay with you? I'd put him up at my school. I'd let him spend the night there. I wouldn't put him in my house with my kids and me. I think that'd be a bit awkward and strange. You know, I'm down to help any YouTuber with any project that I think is like sane and somewhat positive. And I feel like that is kind of a positive thing that he's doing, because he's kind of humbling himself to go around to these different places and beg for a place to stay. And I don't know if he's begging for food too. I don't know how far he's going to take it. But it's an interesting project, and it's one of the more humble things Fusey Tube has ever done. Would I trust the guy? Probably not so much. I mean, it's kind of hard to trust a guy who fakes a big drama thing like that. So, you know, he could still earn my trust back. Maybe this is the stunt that will do it. So we'll see. Sorry, let me grab a phone. Okay. Next up, people want me to talk about Spoony. If you guys don't know, Mr. Metacore, also known as Internet Aristocrat, and I think he had one other name was like Jim31 Jim. He's actually a very well-known YouTuber from the days of Gamergate. He kind of flipped Gamergate and let everybody know what was going down with like secret emails and all this other stuff. He did a ton of research on it. He was one of the spearheads that really got into tearing apart all the BS behind Gamergate. Some of the stuff Mr. Metacore gets into is very, very extreme red pill. I can't agree with everything he is, as he's very hard right and very conservative. I'm still somewhere in between. I'm by no means a libtard, and I'm by no means like hardliner conservative. So there's some things I don't agree with him with, although at the same time I respect how well he backs up his opinion. He just recently dropped a big bomb on Spoony, doing a kind of analysis of Spoony's breakdown. I guess I should let people know who Spoony is if you've never watched him before. Spoony is pretty much as old as James Ralph, the video game nerd, the angry video game nerd, AVGN. He's just as old as him as far as YouTube is concerned. He started only a little bit after him, like maybe a year after him. And he was inspired by him too. He was also inspired, I think, by like that guy with the glasses, Nostalgia Critic stuff. He even worked with that guy with the glasses for a while too. And he was one of my all-time favorite YouTubers. And I have a lot of respect for him. But recently he has not made videos in a very long time. And I feel very conflicted about taking the side of people who are just roasting him right now. The only reason I can say a lot of them are justified is he is still getting a crazy amount of Patreon money. And at one point he was getting $5,000 a month in Patreon money, which is just, that's like mind-blowing. Like, I can't believe he was making that much and he threw it away. Like, if I was making $5,000 a month by Patreon, I would just turn my school into a YouTube studio and just do YouTube full time. I mean, that would be making more profit than my school. With $5,000 coming in monthly, I mean, that would be nuts. That would be insane. So he got to that point, man. He got to $5,000, and he promised crazy rewards, guys. That's why you need to be careful with the rewards you promise. As soon as I promise a reward, for example, sending people stuff in the mail, I go out and pack it right away just in case I get a lazy streak later and don't feel like packaging a bunch of stuff. I do it as soon as I promise it so that I know for sure I'll follow through. He promised things like a movie, like it. As you guys may or may not know, Angry Video Game Nerd made an entire movie with a budget in which he raised himself, I think via Kickstarter, if I'm correct. People weren't stoked on it. Like, a lot of people had some pretty mean reviews of it. Personally, I thought it was like decent. I think if you've made a movie yourself, which I have, I've made like 3 horror movies. They're not very good. And so I know the work that goes into making a movie, and I respected it from the aspect of knowing how much work goes into a movie. And I was like, this is pretty decent for just one dude putting this together. I mean, I'm sure, he had actors, he had people who came in and helped edit and stuff and did sound and all that. But I mean, I'm sure most of it was written by him and then carried out by him as far as the director is concerned. And it was pretty decent for a first-time try, I thought, at a movie. I'm not, I'm not gonna roast it like a lot of the other reviewers did. They roasted it like it was like a Hollywood budget movie, and I was just like, why are you doing this? Same with like the video game that he came out with too. People roasted it like it was like a AAA release, and it's like, why are you putting it up against things like Call of Duty when it's a 2D side scroller? Anyway, I'm getting so off topic. I'm sorry, guys. Such a tangent, man. So Spoony hasn't put out a video now for almost 6 months. He hasn't made any kind of video game review or movie review for I think almost 3 years. Yet he continues to collect money. So I think people make a good point in saying that you are by no means obligated to make material for YouTube. If I wanted to quit tomorrow and make 0 videos, that's okay, but you know what I would do? I would also cancel my Patreon, because my Patreon is directly connected to what I produce on YouTube. The reason I can afford the time to be able to do these videos now, especially streaming right now, I can take an hour each day, is because I got money pouring in on Patreon, and that's thanks to awesome viewers like you. But that's also something that I need to respect quite adamantly. And I think that's where his viewers and Patreons are getting very, very, very upset. I mean, it's to a point that he's locked out commenting on every video he's ever put up. And he's got 2 channels, and he's locked out comments on both of them. Like, you can't comment on anything. And he says he's not making videos because he's depressed and can't work. But the thing is, he's on Twitter so much through the day. Like, he literally, on average, he posts 83 tweets a day. 83 tweets a day. I mean, can you guys do that? I can't. 83 a day? I can't keep up with, like, I don't sit in front of a computer long enough. I don't know how you would do that. He has a second Twitter account just for his dog, and he Twitter posts pretending to be his dog throughout the day as well. So he does beyond 83 Twitter posts a day. He does one for himself, and he does a fake one for his dog Oreo. And it's what people are saying, and I feel like they're pretty justified. They're like, if you have this much time to just sit around posting Twitter BS all day, and it is BS, man. It is just straight garbage yelling about Trump. I mean, he hates Trump. We get it, Spoony. You hate Trump. We get it, dude. It's, some people do not agree with what Trump's doing. We understand that. But if you have enough time to sit there constantly thinking out things to type about him, why not sit there thinking about things to constantly type out for video ideas and give your viewers who are paying massive amounts of money? He's still making like $800 on Patreon. Dude, if I was even making $800 on Patreon, I'd be fucking stoked. You would be... Well, I mean, that would take like so much time out of my day that I would need to spend on teaching. I could almost hire a second teacher for that much. Half of my day I could use making videos, and I would, because people would be literally supplementing my income because of that. I don't get it. Looking the gift horse in the mouth, that's something I'll never understand. If I was able to turn YouTube into a career like that, and I mean, he just didn't turn it into a career, he turned it into like luxury level, to the point that he bought a house with his money. With the money he was earning from Patreon, he went out and bought a house. But, he didn't buy it outright, and he's paying a mortgage. And now the money that he uses to pay his mortgage is slowly trickling down to zero because he refuses to make content. He deals with depression and bipolar disorder, which I do not have myself. I have been depressed before. Have I been clinically depressed? I don't think so. I know I don't have bipolar disorder. And so I'm not going to pretend to put myself in his shoes and be like, well, if I had it, I would just pick myself up by my bootstraps. No, you wouldn't. you would suffer. And the thing is, though, I have many YouTuber friends who also have both of those. I have some that have just like crippling depression, and they never leave their house. They are pretty much hikikomori YouTube content creators. But that's the thing. They're still creators. They never ever use depression as an excuse. I think they could. Honestly, I think they could use depression as an excuse. I have used depression as an excuse. there's times I do not want to make videos for like 3 months, and it's because I'm kind of burned out on YouTube, or I'm, for example, when I first started this school, I was freaking out, dude. I had all these new bills pouring in. Of course, I had to look at my budget and realize I had saved enough to be in the red for 3 years, but it's very uneasy being in a situation you've never been in before where you have a massive amount of bills just suddenly coming in. I get it. I understand why he feels that way. I understand why he feels burned out. He does seem to, I think one of his biggest problems is he takes a lot of the criticism way too personal. I want to address one thing. Yesterday I said that I feel like if people criticize me too much, they're in a lot of pain, and that's probably why they're doing it. I don't mean every single person who criticizes me is in a lot of pain. I just mean when they criticize me without any kind of constructive criticism, you know, logging on and be like, you're a faggot retard, go suck dick, you piece of shit. Like, okay, obviously you're very angry about something that has nothing to do with me. Like, there's something else in your life making you suddenly rant like this. That's the kind of person I'm saying feels like they're in a lot of pain. I feel like they're in a lot of pain. That it really, their anger towards me really doesn't have anything to do with me. When people give me constructive criticism, for example, if someone's like, yo, your sound sucks, in yesterday's stream, I'd be like, yeah, it's something I gotta improve. Or for example, I did Patreon, but then I didn't put any goal rewards. Like, I didn't say, once I reach this goal, I'll do this. And people are like, yo, what the hell? What am I even paying for? And I'm like, okay, good point. Constructive criticism. It made me better my microphone and my Patreon. I don't think those people are in pain. Yesterday I saw two posters who got super angry that they're like, you just think we're in pain because we complain about stuff? And I was just like, oh god. I actually said, yes, you're in pain, get well soon. Anyway, getting back on topic, the next one was, oh, okay, last part here. We're coming to a close. I hope I haven't bored you too much. Let me just say hi a lot to everybody here. Jose, what's up? Terrasets, Yasashi, Cynthia, Timothy, XZ3 Point. Okay, Devin, what's up, bro? Okay, how's everybody doing? You guys are awesome for being on here. What is my stream amount like right now? Yesterday I went 20 above what I had on my first go. Only 35 right now. Oh, this is a bad time to do it, huh? Not so good. Yesterday I did it really late, and I actually had 60 people watching at one time. Maybe I should do that. Guys, I see the stream health is like incredibly bad, so I'm probably like just a choppy bunch of pixelated blocks. I apologize for that. Hence, I shrunk down my own picture and I gave you the beautiful Kim Jong-un to stare upon, a baby with a grenade in his tiny bento box. Okay. Sorry, let me get back on here. Hey, Akasan, what's up, dude? Okay. Okay. Last thing people wanted me to talk about was DSP, Dark Side Phil. I have a whole video of him coming out, so I don't want to go too deep into this. They wanted me to talk about a recent thing that happened with him. This is only like maybe a week or so ago, maybe 5 days ago or so. His girlfriend is also a YouTuber named Panda Lee, and she had a panic attack and had to be rushed to the hospital. And the reason I know this and I'm able to tell you about it is because DSP decided to just leak all her personal medical information online, and give us all a full rundown of like how she was freaking out and how he had to come pick her up at the mall from her mall job and how he took her to the hospital. And guess what? They had to wait in the emergency room for 1 whole hour before they were taken care of. Can you imagine 1 whole hour? Like, what the hell? So this is where people are already pissed. I don't know how many of you have been to an emergency room before. 1 hour in an emergency room is not a long time to wait. That is fucking a speed trial right there. That is like getting you taken care of incredibly fast. I remember one time I busted my lip while skateboarding. It was because my own tooth went through my own lip, and I was bleeding out from my own lip so much that while I sat there in the emergency room, I had to keep going up to the front desk to ask for tissues to like stop blood from pouring out from my lip. And it was like to a point where I just had like a massive pile of tissues in my lap, and they were all covered in blood, and I didn't get taken care of for 5 hours. 5 hours. I'm literally bleeding out like all over their couches in the emergency room. Nobody's patching me up. No one even gave me a band-aid, and I'm bleeding out. And finally I had to get like 7 stitches in my lip. And he's pissed off because they got served in 1 hour. She got something as simple as a panic attack taken care of. I mean, okay, I'm not saying simple. I'm not trying to lighten the blow of a panic attack. I used to have panic attacks, so I know they suck, dude. I know, like, you feel like you're gonna freaking die. But if you saw 2 people in the hospital, one guy's bleeding out of his face and the other one's like, losing their breath from a panic attack, which one would you take? I don't know. So, when you go, usually what they'll tell you is people with heart conditions have to go first, which I understood. I wasn't happy about that. I wasn't like, yeah, that's fun, take care of everybody else. Like, I was just kind of like, okay, I'll just wait. As good as I could talk with a lip that was like watermelon size at that point. And so anyway, he goes into great detail about how they took over an hour to serve him and his girlfriend. Then they put them in a room with no food. They didn't give him any food when they put them in a room. And this is how Dark Side Phil works. Like, anytime he deals with any kind of business with anybody anywhere, he complains. He gets so angry and so upset. I think this is why I love him, and I think this is why everybody hates him. You do not want to do business with this man, or you will leave tarnished if you do business with Dark Side Phil. Some guy built him a computer one time, and all he did was berate the guy about how he thought the computer was broken. So, and that was one of his biggest fans too. So it's hilarious how he treats people. I can't believe he's still on YouTube getting viewers and stuff. It blows my mind. So he complains they didn't get any food. So he said the nurse came in and I was like, "Where's some damn food?" She doesn't even get snippy with him. She's like, "Oh, how about a ham sandwich? I'll go get you a ham sandwich." She gets him a ham sandwich and like some juice and like Jello or whatever, like hospital food. And he's like, and all it got us was just like shitty sandwich and some Jello, and Panda Lee couldn't even eat it, so I just ate the sandwich. This guy picks up his girlfriend who's having a panic attack, tells all her medical details online, complains about waiting 1 hour in the emergency room, then eats his girlfriend's sandwich while they're waiting in the hospital, and she's recovering from just having a panic attack. And then he's complaining also, like, he didn't pay for the sandwich or anything. He didn't have to go down to the cafeteria. They were like, "Oh, you need food? Okay, I'll go get you something." They did not have to do that at all. They could have been like, let's see what I got in my pocket. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I got 2 of these. You want to eat this, motherfucker? Oh, God. Dark Side Phil. That man is amazing. It's... yeah, okay, so I'm going to probably put out the Dark Side Phil video tomorrow, and I just want to say... the way I started out, and this is no spoilers for the video, is I started out by saying, imagine if you lived in a world where everything you did was perfect and you could never make a single mistake. This is Dark Side Phil. And then I actually wrap a story about his life to the tune of Prince of Bel-Air, so I hope you can cringe to that. Okay, well guys, I'm going to start to wrap it up here. I want to say thank you to all the Patreon supporters. I want to say thanks to Jody L, who donated something like $25, no, $15, I don't know, a good amount yesterday on my stream here on the channel. Yes, you can donate while I'm streaming here on the channel. She has been made into a moderator because of that for my chat. If you want super chat, I'm looking into making special icons and moderator positions for all hours of the day for streaming, but of course I'm going to give that to donators because that's kind of a special job. On top of it, people were asking on Patreon for goals. Like I said earlier, I set 3 goals. The first goal is that I turn my second channel into a Japan-based channel where I report on Japan news only from 4 different people's perspectives. More detail is about that on the site. I'm not going to go ranting about that for too long. The second goal was I want to make a DVD. This has kind of been a lifetime goal project. I don't know if I'll ever get to do this, but the second goal was $1,000. It's not saying like you pay me $1,000. It's saying when everybody's money together equals $1,000, I'm gonna do this. So it's gonna take some time. I realize I'm not asking. Well, if you want to make $1,000 donation, go ahead. But I'd be really like blown away. I don't know. I might start crying. So this one was a $1,000. Once it's hit, I want to make a documentary on coming to Japan. And in that, I'm going to interview a couple people who've come here and made their life here. And I'll also talk about my own journey to get here, interview the other people about their journey to get here. And then while I'm doing the different stories all in unison as how all these people got here and what job they ended up working and how they live now and what their life goals are here, I'm also going to relay to you the information of how to get here yourself. I'm going to go through step by step in a very documented way that is almost handholdy for getting people over here, because I want to make a really, really streamlined set of courses that get you over here and make it really simple to understand. Even if you think like, I don't even know how to get a passport, I don't know how to get a visa, I don't know. I'm going to walk you through even that stuff and make it really basic step by step to get here, so that anybody can do it. Because that's the one thing I always say, if I can get to Japan, dude, anybody can get here, dude. I'm not the most professional like hardcore dude ever, as you can probably figure out. So if I can get my act together long enough to get over here, any of you guys can. And I've always wanted to make this documentary. I've wanted to make this since the second year I was here, but this is kind of something where I feel like until I had lived here a long time, I wasn't really a legit voice on. Like, you could be like, yo dude, you've only been there for 2 years, like you could still go home anytime and not really learn much about Japan. But after 10 years, going on 11 years now, I feel like I do have some knowledge, right? Can I call myself a source of knowledge yet? And I want to make that DVD. Anybody who donates the price of the DVD, for example, $15, I will be sending them a digital copy of it, in full. And it's going to be like I want to say it's going to be over an hour long, minimum over an hour long. It may go as long as 2 hours, depending on how much material I work with. And it's going to be high quality. It's going to be shot on here. Let me get it. Pick it up right now. Oh shoot! Oh man, it's stuck. It's stuck. The camera I want to show you is stuck. What is it stuck on? Is it stuck on the power cord? Oh no, now it's okay. I don't know why it was stuck before. Okay, here, let me pull it down. Okay, here we go. This is the Canon Mark IV. I don't know how much you guys know about cameras, but I mean, this is pretty much like almost movie quality. I haven't shot much on this yet because it's hell to process. That's the only reason I don't shoot more on it, because if you like having videos come out in a regular amount of time and don't want to wait for things to process for massive amounts of time, you don't use that. But I will be using that for the documentary because I want it to be as professional quality as possible. And the last thing on there, I think the last goal on there was to make an entire newsroom for Japan News Daily. And that's going to be, of course, on the second channel, like I said. That's going to be, a big project. That's a way long down the line. Like, that probably won't happen for 3 years. Well, unless someone goes crazy and donates a ton, but I'm not out there begging for that. I'm just happy with what little trickles in right now. Any little bit helps. Patreon.com/Scott Ackerman. I also put a PayPal up today. You can just use my TLC English Academy at gmail.com to send me money on PayPal. That's for the people who asked how to pay without a reoccurring fee. I totally understand that. I probably would do the same thing. I wouldn't set myself up for reoccurring. I would do one large lump sum. Not saying you have to do a large lump sum. I'm just saying that's what I would do. You can hit it up there. I'm also setting up Amazon affiliate today, so you can add me on. I don't have a password yet, or a code, or whatever you're supposed to say. So I'm giving people more options. A couple of people messaged me last night and were like, "Yo, I don't have PayPal, and I don't want to use Patreon because I don't want to be getting a reoccurring charge." Well, GoFundMe and Kickstarter don't work in Japan. You can't get those to work. I had a GoFundMe a long time ago, and I actually had to use my friend's account to be able to do it. And then he had to PayPal me the money, so I lost like a massive chunk of money because first I had to go through GoFundMe, then had to go through PayPal, and then he had to transfer it overseas. So it was like stupid amounts that I lost. I must have lost like hundreds of dollars just from the transfer. It was kind of ridiculous. So I don't want to use those ever again, unless they make them Japan friendly, which they haven't yet. If you guys have any other suggestions on stuff you'd like to see in the future for this Streaming with Scott, or SWS as it will now be called, because Streaming with Scott is way too long to write on every video, please let me know in the comments below. I love each and every one of you for joining each day. I'm going to go through the comments now and just make sure I didn't miss any questions at all. Give me 1 second here, guys. Alright. Okay. All Might, what's up, dude? Of course I always try to help you, bro. Is All Might like from Almighty Tevin? I don't know. I'm a big fan of Almighty Tevin. I like his stuff. Alright. Wait, what? You're supposed to unite what? I'm sorry, my chat's halfway cut off. You're supposed to unite yourself before that happens. Who cut you down? DSP is pure cancer. Yeah, but he's a good kind of cancer. I don't know. I can't get enough of DSP, man. That guy cracks me up. I don't know how he pulls it off, dude. In Canada, it can be pretty long for ERs. Yeah, I figured. My chest tightened, I got dizzy and passed out. Once while checking off. I don't know if you should share that with the chat, Devin. Okay, I live in a small town, so usually don't have to wait more than a couple minutes for ER. Man, that is lucky, Kevin. I'm just on randomly sleep disorder. Okay, you're not in. I thought you were in Japan. I didn't know that. Skato-san, konnichiwa. Hey, Kento. Let's see. I like to go through the comments at the end. You guys can sign off now if you don't want to listen to me go through comments. I totally understand why. But I like to go through this. I feel like everybody deserves their own little bit of time on here, and if someone had a question there, they deserve their question answered live. So forgive me if this part is annoying for you. It's interaction for me. That is really impressive that you saved enough to be in the red for 3 years. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, I thought, oh man, probably 1 year will be enough, and then I started to really do the math, which I'm not very good at, and I was like, holy shit, I may be not making money for a long time. So I want you to go to school. Can I go to your school? Yeah, Yasashi, you can go to my school anytime. That's fine. I'm serious. If anyone wants to visit my school while they're here in Japan, it's fine. If anyone deserves 5,000, it's you. Oh, Rodney, you're the best, dude. Scott has a school. I thought he drew pictures and stuff. I did do the pictures for a while. Okay, so let me explain that. Probably some people are wondering why I don't draw pictures anymore. I did do the picture thing for a while, illustrate for RPGs overseas. The problem is after Brexit and after the Australian dollar dipped quite a bit, the amount I had to charge overseas for my two biggest customers, which were from the UK and from Australia, was so high in comparison to the exchange rate that I wasn't competitive with the other artists that were living in their home countries. So it wasn't, how do you say, like, it wasn't a profitable business anymore. I mean, I didn't really lose any money in that, thank goodness, because there's not a lot of overhead for drawing. You just draw. But for the school, there's a lot of overhead for this one. Let's see. I like DeFranco's response. Not going to happen ever. Paraphrase, yeah. Remember, you kind of did the same thing with that other J-Vlogger, Sam. Not a diss, but remembering I did appreciate the apology after, though. Yeah, I try not to. Keemstar is cancer. Yeah, and I can understand. I used to really like Keemstar, and then after that whole incident with that 61-year-old dude he made cry, and then his kind of sniping on some other YouTubers, I feel like dirty if I watch him now. Like, I want to go to Scars, where I feel like he's still like an innocent guy. I mean, I know he's probably gotten himself into some dark drama and stuff, but I feel better about myself if I watch Scars for drama rather than Keemstar. I don't know, is that just me? Fuck Fusey. Yeah, I can understand why people don't like Fusey. Clown did a great job on covering while Fusey's alternate reality is what he lives in. He spoke of Japan. He's never going to leave the J-Vlog community. Never. Well, I mean, I said, if Japan comes up, I've got to talk about it. So, for example, today my scary stories were from Japan because Japan's got great scary stories. I'm not going to... If quality comes out of this country that is relative to the stuff I'm creating, I'm not going to just be like, no, Japan shall never enter my lips. I gotta give it credit where it's due. And if the credit comes from Japan, I got to do that. Alright. Let's see what else we got. Evergreen College and Pride to the Northwest. Yeah, I talked about that. Okay. I want to move to Japan and become a Pokemon master. Best of luck with that. Okay, you hear? Okay, good. Got all the way back to the top. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. Sorry if me reading the comments at the end is annoying. I don't know, maybe there's a better way to go about doing this, and I'm learning. Stick with me. I'm learning. I'm gonna make a better way to do this. Probably what would be best is if I had some way to reel in all the legit questions from I'm not gonna call it spam. I read everything you guys say, and almost none of it is spam. But I want to figure out a way that I can kind of filter out questions so I can make sure I can jump on any more questions that people have near the end of the show or that they ask while I'm streaming. Until next time, guys, if you get a chance, hit up patreon.com/Scott Ackerman. I've got some great rewards on there if you want some stuff from Japan, $20 or more, and I start sending you stuff directly from Japan, from stores in Japan, $50 and above. You can get a video made about anything you want, yes, including Japanese material. If you have a JFAQ you desperately need answered, if you're going to pay for it, yeah, of course I'm going to make it. It's called customer service. And, for those of you, you want to just donate a couple pennies out of your pocket, if I could make it 50 cents, I would. If I could make the lowest tier 50 cents, I would. It's $1. Any little bit helps. People who feel shame for donating $1, you should not. You are freaking awesome. Every little bit makes such a massive difference. PayPal's still out there, tlcenglishacademy.com, and Amazon affiliate will be up tomorrow. I'm also going to try and Twitch stream soon, mostly because I want to play video games with you guys. I don't get to do that, and it's something I really want to enjoy. And the fact that you guys are giving me a chance to do this via all your donations, literally buying me time to be able to do this so I can take time away from my own job and enjoy this job, feeling like a job sometimes. I want to return the favor with lots of time with you guys and playing video games with you guys. As you guys probably know, I'm a pretty huge video game fan. Been playing Portal Knights a lot recently. Just downloaded 7 Days to Die. I'm going to go try that out later today too and see how that is. I'm probably going to suck. Have a good one. I love you all. Kiss your moms good night for me. Oh wait, no wait, it's probably like 9 o'clock where most of you are. You guys all kiss your moms good night, right? Kiss them for me. To your mom. I'm gonna stop streaming before I embarrass myself anymore.